Hey everybody, welcome back to IP Farms. Well, it's another beautiful day here in North Carolina. It's right hot today, probably, I don't know, 82, 83 right now. It's about 4 p.m. Sun shining. Wind's still blowing, which that's expected here in the spring, but we're gonna try to get after the 1086 water pump today. I got all the parts in. Hopefully you watched the last video, showed all that. We're gonna try to get that back together. Hopefully also you watched the second part of the injection pump repair. I ran into a little snag on that, but I think I've got a resolution for it. I'm waiting on that right now. And when we get that resolved, we'll be putting that back together and hopefully get this unit back down in the field. Grass is growing like crazy, like I said. So anyway, I'm gonna try to bring you along for some of it today. I don't know if it'll be kind of more hands-on than it was last time. Just depending on how bad the wind gusts or whatever. But we'll go over a few things as we put this back together. I hope that I didn't make a mistake by saying that I didn't have to pull the radiator out, because I've been looking at that bottom radiator hose and I don't know how much flex I've got in there, if I can squeeze that in between the radiator and the water neck or what, but we're gonna give it the best shot we can. So and had several latest litigations with the local agency over the bottomland, and well, if I get a chance, I'll put that on, tag a little bit on the end of this video. So if not, if you don't see anything about the local agency in the bottomland on this video, then we'll just do a whole separate video of it. But needless to say, the gloves are coming off at this point. So we'll go over a little bit more of that at the end. But let's get started here. The rain's finally held off. Won't say that's a bad thing, but rained me out the last 2 days here, so I wasn't able to do anything when I was working outside. But let's get started. Okay, well, the hoses were a success. I was able to get the bottom radiator hose on without taking the radiator out. This one was flexible. It is kind of a contoured hose. The water neck is lower than the radiator neck, but I slid it all the way up on the radiator here and was able to bend it enough to get it started back on there, and just started the clamps around it. We got the top radiator hose on new. Was able to get the I don't know, bypass hose here, I guess. I forgot to get new clamps for that, but these are okay. One of them goes array, then I can always change those pretty easy. But this one is a little bit more tough. You can get it on there without removing the thermostat housing. I probably should have changed the thermostat, but maybe that'll be next. But anyway, slid it all the way down on the water pump housing as far as it would go. Bent it, had to work it to get it up here on the nipple. Again, if you want to do it the right way, I guess, and put a thermostat in, you can take the thermostat housing off and stick it right in there. But you all know me, I'm on the cheap. So we're gonna try to get, I got all the gaskets scraped off of here. Gonna try to get the die grinder with a wire brush on there and get that cleaned up, and hopefully get started putting the water pump on. I sure hope I don't remember to put that shroud in there first, because it won't pass by. I mean, worst case, I could bend it a little bit, but I've already been telling myself that for the last 2 or 3 minutes not to forget that. But anyway, let me get you set up for a little bit up, probably be some time lapse, just so the die grinder won't be so loud. We'll get that cleaned up, and then I'll bring you back and we'll get ready to put the water pump on. Okay everybody, trying to keep you out of the sun there. We were able to get that cleaned up good. Had to go back and scrape some more gasket off that I missed with I got a fresh razor blade and did it, but everything looks pretty good. It's got a little bit of pitting in it here or there, but I use a special sealant on water pumps. I have for my entire life. Anything I've worked on water pump, thermostat housing related, I'll show you what that is. But let's get the water pump out here, and I'll show you that stuff, and we'll see if we can get it bolted up. I'm not sure if the high speed shows it or not, but had something weird happen. I was looking up at the sky, fight bees here all the time. I thought it was one of those wood boars flying around, and just happened to look up and caught a shot of a drone. I have no idea who that was or where it was or whatever else, just happened to catch a glimpse of it as it went over. So didn't stay long, which is a good thing, but pretty weird. Never had that happen here. But Anyway, enough babbling. Let's get to work. Okay, everybody. A little different angle here. Here's what we're going to use. Permatex high-tack gasket sealant. I don't know if any of you ever heard of Indian Head or not. That's what I used to use years ago, and I switched over to this, messing with boats and whatnot. It's a very good sealant. It's not like RTV. It's more or less like it almost stays. It never really hardens up, but it works perfect on any application with water, antifreeze, whatnot. So that's what we're going to use. What I do is put a thin layer on the water pump, and then we'll put the gasket on the water pump and it'll stick to it, and then we'll put a light coat on the gasket itself, and then when it mates to the engine block, then everything will work out great. The only drawback to this stuff is it's very stringy. It doesn't really hurt anything, it's just very stringy for whatever reason. So like I said, you don't want to get anything in the water pump vanes, and this stuff doesn't really smear. It's a thin coat. It's a very good sealer, but it doesn't really smear or push out like standard RTV silicone. So like I said, it's what I've always used on water pumps and thermostat housings and gaskets and whatnot. So we're going to use it on this. I used it on the water pump. I had to put a water pump on the 3208 and the L8000. I think that was before I was doing YouTube, and used it on there, no problems at all. I also use it on the bolts that go in the coolant passages. This one has two that actually go in the coolant passages, and everything else is on the outside. So I actually got two bolts with nuts on them, and then the rest of them just screw right in the block, not in water passages. So we're going to put a little bit on the bolts that go in the water passages. Lord, I'm repeating myself. Okay, we've got us a thin coat on there. Now we're going to take the gasket, and it does have a couple of dowel pins, which is good. Line-up purposes, that'll be good going back on. Just put it down on there, which with the dowel pins, that makes it pretty much a no-brainer. It keeps all your bolt holes lined up. Just go around and tap everything down. Alright everybody, well it was a success. Water pump's on, fans back on, fan shrouds on and bolted up. Lord, the sun's in the eyes. I'm gonna wait to put the alternator on simply because, and probably all y'all are gonna fuss at me, but I've got to put a new temperature gauge in it. It hasn't worked since I've had it, but I've checked it with a infrared thing several times. It was running fine, but I'm gonna go ahead while the antifreeze is low. I've got a new gauge for it already, just never put that in, so I'm gonna wait, keep the alternator out of the way here. So that's it. It was a success. Let me round a few tools up and we'll button this one up. Okay everybody, we'll wrap this one up. Water pump is on, project's complete there. Hopefully y'all found it interesting, the route I went without having to remove the radiator. I tried to get as much step by step as I could. I know these appeal to some of you that don't. Everything went well. You can change the radiator hoses, change the water pump, get the fan off, belts off, everything else without removing the radiator. So that all went smooth. Now if we can get the injection pump to go back together that smooth, will be sitting pretty. But I'm still waiting on some parts on that. Hopefully those will come in first of the week, and we can get that button back up and get this unit back in the fields and get back to mowing. Thank you all for hanging in there with me. I know, like I said, we've had a lot of maintenance videos here and repair stuff on the equipment. You know, I run the old stuff, so it does take quite a bit of attention. I really can't complain with any of it. It's all done good. The time that I've had it, I used all of it last year without any really major breakdowns. So it was time to do a few of these things, just like the water pump. I mean, I knew it was bad when I, you know, got the tractor a year and a half ago now, but just got out of hand. So anyway, if you made it this far, just want to say thank you. I appreciate that. Video format a little bit different today. Wind was still up and down. You know, some of it's monotonous, screwing bolts in and whatnot, but you know, hopefully you got a little bit out of each part of it. The silicone that I use and stuff like that. If you guys got any questions about any of that stuff, feel free to drop it down in the comments. So you know, we'll see what happens. I'm tickled that this went smooth, didn't have any broken bolts or anything. I had been dreading it, so that part's back together. I'm gonna leave the alternator off, like I said, I believe, to put the new water temperature gauge in. I should have done that a long time ago, but I checked it with the infrared thermometer. I think I said that in the last clip, but you know, it never did run hot or anything. And looking back on it, I wish now that I would have maybe put a thermostat in it, but you know, that's easy to get to without it, just draining the antifreeze back out. So we'll see what happens. But thank you all. Please consider subscribing if you hadn't already, if you're watching the video. Hit the thumbs up button if you like what you see. Thumbs down, I understand, it's not for everybody. You know, share the videos, get it out. There might be somebody else looking to do these projects on these series international tractors on the cheap like I did without having to remove a whole bunch of stuff. So if you've got AC, it might be a little bit different. If you don't have AC, then this should be right up your alley, and you knock these projects out pretty quick. So I believe that'll do it for this one, and I believe the next repair video you'll see on 1086 hopefully will be buttoning up the injection pump, and I might do an overview about all of them, you know, whatever. I'm not real sure. If you guys have watched these and got something out of them, there's no real reason to do an overview. I try to detail everything in it just like I do Babylon all the time. But anyway, I want to say thank you again. Until next time.